Welcome to Models Off Duty, the podcast where we hang up our heels, let our hair down, and keep it real. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm April, and we're two models turned besties talking all things life, love, style, and the secrets behind the spotlight. From runway truths
to relationship realness,
nothing's off limits
when we're off duty. So grab your matcha,
get comfy,
and let's dive in.
I'm April.
And I'm Kim.
And today we're going to talk to you about Model Street and our Model Street workshops. So Kim, tell us about Model Street.
So Model Street actually came about officially in 2023, but it was kind of a dream actually, a goal that I was trying to do for years.
Yeah.
And I basically wanted to start this platform, a community of women to help new and aspiring models get started in the industry.
Yeah.
And it was because I had nothing like that when I first started. Did you?
No.
There's nothing out there to have like mentor or guidance
Yes.
throughout all the challenges, throughout all the uncomfortable things that people don't talk about.
Totally.
So I wanted just to create that community, and it was crazy because I was talking to you one day.
Yeah, we were at brunch, I think.
Yeah. And I was telling you because I officially had an online course. I was doing online mentoring,
Yes.
and I thought I would love to do in person because with modeling, like you benefit so much from doing in-person hands-on guidance than online.
Yeah, because you can't model online. I mean, you can try, but it's totally different. We were at brunch, I remember, and I don't even know what we were talking about, but basically, I think you were saying that you wanted to start this, and then I was like, oh my God, it has always been a dream of mine. So one of my biggest dreams was literally to have like an office of some sort where you had a studio, you had a runway, we had like offices, and for some reason back in the day I thought like a bed. I don't know. Was
A bed?
Just
sleep at your house or no? Just a
no,
bed?
it was like an office, like maybe like to go to sleep or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Because in the Philippines, like shoots like would like go like
for
overnight.
hours, yeah.
So I thought a bed.
A bed, all right.
And then I wanted to have like a model coaching school, and I remember at that brunch.
Yeah, I was thinking, and there was a really early stages. I was like, April, I'm thinking of doing like an in-person workshop. Coming from online course, I was like, let's try an in-person workshop. But I mean, I just didn't think I could do it alone, and it held me back for years because I was like, who is going to listen to me? Who's going to come to my workshop?
And then I remember I said to you, no, let's just do it. Like this podcast.
Yeah, I know. So we literally did. That like afternoon we brainstormed. I think we still have those notes somewhere, and we were just like, okay, what do we want to include? How are we going to do it? And I think was this 3 months prior?
It was literally a three-month launch, planning and launch. Because like I remember we were in your house, and like that was like ground zero. And then it was so surreal that like 3 months later we launched our first workshop. We
had 11 students, beautiful girls, and it was crazy because we didn't really know any of them, and they were so eager and so interested.
I feel like our first workshop was a freaking dream. Yeah. Like it was everything that we could have expected and more. Yeah. If I am a new model, if I am not a model, if I am an established model, is our Model Street workshops for them?
100%. I think initially the target was to get new and aspiring models, which is very, very important. But we've had students that already established that just want to build confidence, just want to know how to pose in front of the camera, but not necessarily want to do modeling.
Yeah.
And like we're talking, like the skills that we teach can be transferred to outside of modeling as well.
If I'm not a model, what do I get? Like, you know, what do I get out of it?
I think the biggest takeaway is just the confidence and the networking experience that you have.
The community that we're building.
Yeah. That is such a special thing. I think once people come to our workshops, they're going to be forever part of this Model Street community, which I just love, that sisterhood. Yes. We can just like be there.
Yes.
I think just having that guidance for these girls, new or already established, and I just admire them putting themselves in the situation to invest in themselves, to educate themselves and feel just more empowered and prepared to know what's coming ahead.
Honestly, like, it's so fun watching them. And also because it's the interactive exercise we do are like real life kind of situations. Yeah. So like, you know, we might get you to cast for us, or like pose for us, or like, you know,
act for us. Of course, I love doing the runway and the posing and the practical side of things. But getting everyone involved is the best part, really.
Yeah. In terms of value, right? We've both been in the industry for a really long time. Knowing like what shoots cost, there wasn't really anything like this when we were around. But the value of providing that education and teaching them that journey, you know, how do you even quantify that?
It's hard to put. You can't really put a price on that. I mean, rates and the amount of money people spend varies. Yeah. We condense a lot of things into our workshops.
So like 20 years combined of experience?
Yeah, like context, like I've been modelling for probably a decade in the industry. And
I'm much older than you, so let's just say longer than that.
But combined 20 years plus. Yeah. Across, modelling, acting, pageantry, like the whole thing that we've just used to put forward for this. So the value, I mean, what we charge, I think is very reasonable.
Yeah, totally. I think what differentiates us, because I know that there are like other kind of similar schools out there, but I think what differentiates us is that it is intimate, which means it's almost like having a PT, but for like modeling. And again, you don't have to be a model, but it's just that intimate one-on-one. Because I know I've got a lot of friends who have, even before this, have always said to me, like, can you teach me how to pose? Because you and I are like the content girlies of our groups. And so I'd always like pose my friends, right? And sometimes, even though I teach posing and you know how to pose, I would love it if someone like you said to me, oh, actually, can you just like shift your body a little bit? Or
make that adjustments. Yeah. Because the minor adjustments, what we realize, can make a huge difference.
Biggest difference.
And it's so different when someone is shooting you as well.
Yeah. Also because what you know looks good when you pose, like might not, just because like depends on where that person is, the angle. And so like, it's like, honestly, like I feel like you don't have to be a model or want to sign with an agency, but I think everybody in the age of social media wants to know how to pose.
And I think it comes down to really understanding your own body type, your angles, and we help you discover that, because whatever we teach and whatever we teach is more inspiration, and we can help adjust it to tailor so they feel comfortable and confident with every pose that they do.
I mean, like with runway, obviously everybody wants to know how to strut their stuff, right? I have people reach out to me saying, I just want to learn how to like walk.
Yeah, strut their stuff.
Yeah.
Down the street.
Yeah, exactly. We should do like content around that. We should do like a street runway.
Yeah. You can just like walk in like all random places, through the aisles of Woolies. Yeah. Like random places.
Or like oh my God, like this is, you guys are seeing ideation happen like in real time.
Approach people on the street.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's model street. We have to take them on the street.
From the street.
Yeah.
We should do that.
On Pitt Street Mall.
Okay.
We'll see who. Maybe we'll find you.
Yeah. Watch out for this space. Learning how to walk. I feel like people, I don't know, this is just my general observation. I feel like people are like, oh yeah, I can do that. But then actually there's like
so many elements, actually.
Yes, right.
We really break it down. And it can be overwhelming. Like, you don't realize how much you have to think about each and every single body part and how it can all flow in that whole body connection.
Yeah.
So we really try and break that down so it can be easy. I mean, obviously it comes with practice. Yeah. But I think everyone that comes out improves their walk in that session.
Even me. Oh, you're going to say?
No. Oh, yeah, sure. Even you. Yeah, and I'm also learning as well. Yeah. Like, I'm learning from you. I'm learning from the students.
Yeah. Learning how to walk, learning how to be more confident, like, you know, learning how to pose. They're all kind of like things that you don't have to be signed with an agency. But what about for the models, right, that are already models?
Models that already are established in the industry, they're coming and still seeking advice and wanting to invest themselves and educate them, or even just refine their skills. Yeah. Like, I think working in the industry, you're always constantly learning and evolving, and that's how you become such a more successful model.
I totally agree. And I feel like, you know, even if you've been a model in the industry for a while, it's almost like when you work in any other profession, like I used to be a lawyer, or what about an accountant, or I think like they have things called continuing like learning and development that they need to do to make sure they're upskilled and like staying up to date. I feel like that applies to any industry. Once you've done one shoot doesn't mean you know it all. Like you can always learn tips on like, you know, how to shift your weight or how to move your body or how to like create angles.
Yeah, 100%. And even like the skills, like of course we teach the modeling skills of runway and posing, but people just that are not models can benefit as well, because anyone wants to take a photo like with their friends or family, and so many people just feel so awkward and they don't know what to do with their hands, or they feel like they're camera shy, but just coming to a little workshop to boost their confidence and to be like, oh, okay, I know which side I want to pose. So that can just help them, that little thing.
Like just having 2 or 3 things that you know that every time you go and take a photo, like these are my go-tos, and then you can experiment around that. And honestly, like that is what you and I truly do, right? Like last night we went to an event, and we just, I think like we're so in sync though, you and I, so it's a little bit different, but like...
She's copying me.
But like I think we just like know, like we're like, okay, we've got this, we know what works with our body and our height differences. And then we always have like a go-to thing. We're like, smile and put our hands up. I was expecting you to do that. And that was like our sequence.
I did, didn't I?
Not just now.
Oh, just now. Oh, I think last night. Like, I did that. We were talking as well how we cover a range of like aspects from our own different niches as well. Yeah. You more on the petite side, and you show that through your modeling, and mine is different, but we work so well together. And I think it shows just how diverse and inclusive the modeling industry is going. And I just love that. So I feel that can be a hesitation for people like, oh, I don't think I can be a model, or I don't look like this person or look like that. But we talk about the authenticity and finding their niche and what makes them shine. And I think we cover a good aspect and areas to help inspire others too.
Let's like talk about that, right? Like the industry, especially from when I started, and I've worked both here and in Asia, has how much it's changed. In Asia, for example, they love, and especially like maybe not now, but back then it was like your skin had to be way lighter, and now I think they're like really
they're embracing it.
Yeah, has
more,
changed, right?
But yeah, definitely in the modeling industry, it was very restrictive, and there was types of beauty standards that would only become successful. Yeah. And I think we are very lucky though in Australia. We see that shift even more. Like more recently, I've even noticed in my last 10 years how progressive it is, and how agencies and brands are looking for more real faces, relatability. So it gives so much more opportunities to all different women and all models there.
And like that's something that we also talk about in our workshops. We talk about branding, because in the age of social media, you, whether you know it or not, are creating a brand. So even without trying, you're already projecting something to the world. And so I think, you know, it's really important that whether you want to be a model, whether you don't want to be a model, if you have social media, which I think most people do, whatever you're putting out there, you're creating an image around yourself. So sometimes you need to be really conscious about that.
I want to ask you a question.
Oh, gosh.
Talking about social media.
Yes.
Do you think social media influencers and models are the same? What is your thought of it? I want to hear what you have to say, because I feel like also a lot of people, because they have Instagram, they think, oh, I can be a model. Or is that technically a social media influencer? Or is it both? Or is it blended now?
I've got a view on this. I think, this is my honest view, is that honestly, modelling is an art form. And I come from an old school background where not anyone could model, hence the reason why we're creating like education and workshops, right? But I honestly think modelling is an art form, and it's something that skilled models, that's why they were paid paid so much and all of that, and cast, and there's an entire process that goes behind it, is because it is like any other profession, and you're an expert in that profession, and that's why brands come to you. And so I do think that modeling is still something that is its own unique genre. And then you've got social media influencers who, yeah, they can pose and all of those things, but I still think there is a distinct line between a professional model and someone that is a model on Instagram. And sometimes, yes, they blend and overlap. So, for example, a good friend of mine always says to me, if social media was big in the era that I was modeling, they're like, you could have probably made so much more money, and because brand endorsements and things like that. If you're a proper model and then you've got a social media presence, you can blend the two. But I still think that a social media influencer and a professional model are still two different. Yeah.
No, I think I agree. I think there is, in my mind, it's always going to be a professional model, and we have our social media influencers.
Yeah, both have their places.
I think still having a social media presence is good for models.
Totally.
Because it can definitely help them network and get jobs. But it's also not a necessity as well. I think you can still be a model and you're booked just through your agency because you're a model, and it's not because you have a high following or
it's
that.
Because you're skilled.
Because you're skilled. You don't have to rely on just the amount of followers or engagement that you have.
It's interesting that you said, your agency will still book you for jobs. What if you're a freelance model?
I think there's so many other ways as well.
Yeah.
You can get through other platforms. It doesn't have to just solely rely on social media influence. Yeah. You can just be networking on jobs, or you can be hustling behind the scenes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we covered quite a lot today.
Yeah. If you have any questions, or is there some topics that you want us to cover about modeling, anything like that, more about our workshops, just let us know, leave a comment, send us a DM, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is it for Models Off Duty. We're models off duty.
Can I sit comfortably?
Yeah.